I am honestly convinced that this country needs to be looked at again. The structure of the country is designed in such a way that we accuse each other and no one is better off. We should review. After all, the amalgamation has expired and the constitution is to be reviewed by the National Assembly. So I will say to you that, look, I think this country needs to be reviewed and I think need to be fairly and equitably structured. Now I am saying honestly, the structure of this country is not working. I don't want to be accused even when I am suffering. I want my people to wake up and rise up and feel proud, just like every other Nigerian will feel proud when that sense of ownership is created. I'm a northerner, I'm from Kano State, and I have been accused by colleagues and brothers in a very civil political discussion of dominating the polity, dominating the economy, and dominating the security. So I asked the question, if I dominate the polity, I have the president, yes, I have the executive council and appointees that are constitutional, just like every other state. But what is my economic situation? And what is my security situation today? So the question is it working for me if I dominate somebody? It's not. The question is, look at all the indices of development. The North today is actually worse off. Security, education, prosperity, development, I don't know. What have you?
Good evening to you, good morning to you, good afternoon to you from wherever you're watching from. This is Maiyegun live. And thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are joining from. Share the broadcast. And if the audio is perfect, let me know. And let's get started. Share the video.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun #1. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun #1. Lórí Facebook.
Thank you very much. Remember this. Nigeria is pardoning terrorists. Nigeria is rehabilitating terrorists without considering the effect of such decisions on the soldiers who became injured and incapacitated while fighting these monsters, without considering the effect of this on the families of soldiers who died while fighting these monsters. And not to talk about the victims who are in their millions, whose parents have been killed, their children killed, wife, husband killed, and relatives killed, but they survived only to be living in refugee camps in northern Nigeria, abandoned, forgotten. I don't think they actually thought about the effects. And we are now asking, if those who committed the worst crime in Nigeria are being pardoned without any court trial, there should be no criminal in any prison in Nigeria as we speak. Share the Earlier today, I was reading about IBB's birthday, and guess what? The people that became the victims of military tyranny, military dictatorship, those who claimed to be fighting for primarily fighting for the Yoruba people because of the criminality of the military junta led by Babangida himself, who eventually annulled the presidential election of 1993, are judged to be the best, presidential election in Nigeria history. He annulled it only for those criminals who eventually ran away from Nigeria in the name of Nadeco, got back to Nigeria, got into government, and could no longer defend Yoruba land, only for them to come back and praise Babangida. I'm talking about the governor of Ekiti State, and many of them. They are now calling Babangida elder statesman, They are calling him all this kind of beautiful names. Somebody who promote democracy, supported democracy. Oh dear. Right before our eyes. We are going to see them praise Bukwari, praise APC, Egbekegbe very soon, despite all the atrocity, the division, the killing, the murderous, bloody trail that they are living in their own government as we speak. Yes, I saw that today, and I was flabbergasted, I'll say. Share my video. We are in a tailspin. We are in a deep problem, right? And the only reason why we are in this problem is because we are part of Nigeria. There is something they try to push all the time, the one homogeneous northern Nigeria, which doesn't exist, by the way. And those who are pushing it have done so well for themselves that they've managed to use the leveler of power to keep this myth alive. Homogeneous North. There's nothing like that. But because we don't have any homogeneous South, even though we should, where we have everything, equal, religious-wise, and then our way of life, so to say. But for the first time, due to the failure of those who thought holding power, controlling power, being able to say, you sit down there, you stand up, you go to prison, you go to exile, or you go into a palace. Those who thought they have all the power of, the beginner and the finisher, they were sad when their failure of being able to protect all of us has now led to the political class in southern Nigeria to come up with a resolution that they were banning open grazing to start with, among other things, right? This triggered those who claim to be the owners of power to feel like for the first time, it seems that they are losing it. But I want to talk about that southern solidarity in a way. If that can actually really get to be a kind of another southern homogeneous myth that we are one, if that can make a difference, now which I believe it can, right? But genuinely this time around led by the people, right? Maybe, just maybe, we can prevent the calamities of what these guys are doing. Because the danger is this. When they pardon terrorists who have committed the worst crime in the past 12 years in Nigeria, and they know that they will never be prosecuted or tried for any reason, rather, they will choose to either die or even surrender and then, However, we know that these criminals are so patient, they are so relaxed, they are so calm, that if it's going to take them 50 years to achieve whatever caliphate they are pushing for, they will. And it doesn't matter how many numbers of people that have to die. Now, the danger of this is that when you now give them amnesty in Nigeria, you don't know where they are going to end at. Whether they are going to end up that forgiven terrorist from Niger, that forgiven terrorist from Libya, you don't know where they're going to end up at. And the mission is the same. You can kill them, but you can't kill the ideology. And that is what dragged us, or we as a Southerner, the misfortune that has befallen us. So if there's any time we need homogeneity and what have you, right, it is now. Just like they came out to say, we are banning open grazing, and we will make sure that every state in southern Nigeria pass the law to ban open grazing. Trust me, so far so good. Almost 80% of the southern states have passed the law to ban open grazing, but none of them has the capacity to implement the ban. They don't have army, they don't have soldiers, they don't have anything, they don't have any kind of recruited force or what have you to implement it. But they can have it if they want to. And that's exactly what we are probably asking them to try to do now. Election in 2023 is another gimmick to keep us tagged or it gets stuck in this unholy arrangement, which will further, right, give them more time to build whatever caliphate they are planning to build. Listen to this. As you are watching this video, Nigeria military, they have released over 7,000 those they called repentant terrorists. The procedure, the process of that rehabilitation, the process of identifying those ones who have really committed crime and those who they said were probably lured into it and all of, or what have you, right? We don't know what criteria they used. Now, that arrangement of releasing terrorists hasn't reduced terrorism. It hasn't reduced the kidnapping. The insecurity situation has further kind of, worsened. Not just that. As Nigeria continue to implement the pardon program, that they can't even, none of them can explain what this is all about to Nigeria in a plain terms. They kept talking about Geneva Convention about, what's this again? Something about laws of, rules of engagement, something like that. Yeah, rules of engagement, which says if somebody who is fighting war, right, and eventually is surrendered, right, he must not be maltreated. In fact, he should be kept in a safe custody, okay? And for whatever crime is committed, he is a prisoner of war. So it will become part of the negotiation when the war ends and the peace and truce is settled, ceasefire is, agreed. Then you can bring out all the prisoners of war and say, well, we found that these guys actually committed this social crime that are unforgivable. But you see, all the rest of these ones that we have arrested, right? We will release them for peace. And you know what I mean? Like, that is if you're fighting war. But you are fighting terrorists. Terrorists who wants to enforce Islamic Sharia rule on the entire country, starting with the northern Nigeria. And they have been doing it for the past 12 years. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed during this period, right? And this onslaught and this killing still continues. Just today, they said the ISIS gave order to the Nigeria ISIS that they should reshuffle their leadership cabinets after some of their some of their commanders surrendered to Nigeria. So in the last 5-6 days, suddenly, thousands of repentant terrorist fighters started surrendering to Nigeria military. No trial, no nothing. And the military came out and they said they have pardoned them because according to the international convention, international law, because they have surrendered, therefore, they cannot be maltreated, which is true, but it doesn't mean that they have to be released in a program where these terrorists continues to take territories, continue to hoist their flags all across the northern Nigeria as you are watching this video. The children kidnapped about 2 months ago. Children, and when I say children, I'm talking about school children who are as young as 7 years old. They are still in the captivities of their captors in Niger State for 2 months now, 139 of them. There's a report that came in today, right, that some school children have been kidnapped again by these terrorists. And while Nigeria continue to pardon them, and Nigerians have no clue the names, the identities of these guys, no clue about the process that actually, freed them. Yeah, they continue to do that while the terror continue to spread. And I ask, would you still justify the lockup? Somebody said 3 years old. 3-year-old kid. That's true. It was that bad. They attacked a school in Niger State where children from poor homes, some of them, their parents have been killed by these same terrorists, right? So a school that was self-funded by a man and his wife, a family. They started a small school to help the underprivileged children who have become whose parents have become victims of Boko Haram. And guess what? These children goes to this school. nearly for free. Some of them pay as little as 20 naira to attend the school. This was supposed to be the poorest school you would ever come across if a documentary was run on them. But this was the school that the terrorists attacked, and they kidnapped all the children, including the children of the proprietors of the school. And for 2 months now, some of the parents have paid. They sold their properties. Those who had properties sold their land, sold everything they could, even though they came up with a meager from what the kidnappers were asking for. 500 million naira was what they were asking for the children. The parents have raised, I don't know, but still 139 of them are still with the captors for 2 months. Children in the forest with gun-wielding, drug-abusing criminals, lunatics in the forest. And mind you, the idea is very simple. Don't send your children to any school. Their elites in northern Nigeria are more interested in power. They are more interested in what happened in NNPC. They are more interested in the oil blocks in Niger Delta and every other part of southern Nigeria. They are more interested in the revenues and the taxes generated from the southern Nigeria, the sharing, and they are more interested in saying they call the shot in all the ministries, parastatals, and agencies. They are more interested in power, control, force, all that stuff. But yet, they watch the North bleed and slid completely or almost now into the hands of the total extremists who are hell-bent in enforcing Sharia on the people of northern Nigeria. And that's why I said, listen, the whole thing can be broken. America is not going to do it, okay? UK is not going to do it. You should all begin to bury that thought, okay? There's nobody coming to do it for you. What will happen is what happened in Afghanistan, okay? By the time this criminal government's in power, Buhari's government and the rest of them, by the time they are done with us, yeah, many of us who are yet to agree that Nigeria is irredeemable. It is set up to fail, set up to kill you. It is set up to kill me physically and every other way, right? So, and the only way to break out of the whole thing is to understand that your every effort to maintain the status quo, right, is pretty much should be considered as a suicide effort of yours who just chose to continue on a suicide mission that Nigeria, which happens to be the Nigerian path. How do you release terrorists in a country of 200 million people where you have over 500,000 security forces that could or should defend the land but unable to, deliberately choose not to, like the Taliban and the American formed government in Afghanistan, right? Similar thing is what we have in Nigeria. When you look at the population of those in charge of the Nigerian security agencies and all of that, the Nigerian military, Nigeria defense, look at the population of those who make up the contingents of soldiers, policemen, and the rest. You will find the largest number or percentage of that number from northern Nigeria, the most terrorized part of that country, right? When you look at those, the hierarchy of those who control the levelers of power currently in the past 6 years in Nigeria, right? And you realize that they have an army of over 600,000, agents, and yet the Boko Haram, the Fulani bandits, Fulani terrorists, the ISWAP, the Ansaru, and every other criminal organization operating in northern Nigeria that continually showed to the rest of the world that it is just a matter of time before they will take over Nigeria. And if you are relying on the Nigerian security force to stop them, then you are not, in fact, you are not living. You are not learning. You have no idea what is going on. Tell me, how possible is this? When everybody put this on paper and they say, even almighty America could not defeat terrorism, that is a very, very foolish argument. There is no terrorism in America like you have the Boko Haram in Nigeria. There are no terrorist organizations in America kidnapping school children, destroying, killing soldiers, killing American soldiers in America, kidnapping American security agents and beheading them,
kidnapping people and kidnapping Americans because they are Christians, and then they are beheading them and shooting them in the head. There's nowhere in America that you see any terrorist organization. So if America can't defeat a terrorist a terrorist abroad, right? That shouldn't be a template for you to say Nigeria too can't defeat those who shouldn't have the strength to pull all this off for 12 years. So if they ask you why couldn't America defeat Taliban in Afghanistan, why were they unable to defeat this and that, you should be answering your own question, because the answer is obvious. The people who want the Taliban in Afghanistan and those who are also forced to accept the Taliban's way of life to stay alive, and those who don't want the Taliban, when you put all these numbers in a basket and you separate them in a way, you realize that there is no way even 100,000 of American forces can do more than just to buy time like they did for 20 years. It's just a matter of time. But look at Nigeria. There are locals who also believed, who agreed with the teachings and the beliefs of the Boko Haram. They believe that they are fighting for a just cause. They believe that the reason why everything is not working for them is simply because they are trapped in a country led by the infidels, mixed up with the people who are not supposed to, who don't believe in Allah and the rest of that. And how do you think they were able to recruit those who are shooting for them locally and abroad? Is it not because of those who believe in them? Then we talk about those that the territories they have managed to take over, where people are already obeying the Sharia rule of the Boko Haram. People are already paying taxes to them. Farmers are paying taxes to Boko Haram before they could go to their farms. In so many parts of northern Nigeria, as we speak today, police stations that you see everywhere in southern Nigeria. If you go to northern Nigeria, they will tell you some areas, police don't go there at all. You will never have wherever crime is committed there, Nigeria is not involved. Yes, in northern Nigeria of today. But they're hiding all of this information from the rest of the country until when you will wake up one day and you'll be asking yourself, why is it impossible for the Nigerian military to stop them when they take over Sokoto, when they take over this or take over that and declare their caliphate? But here it is. That's when you will know that more than half of Nigerian military and security agents are made up of those who are sympathizers with the terrorists. And that is dangerous. You know why? You and I are not party to that. But we are meant to stay and stick to it. Or we are going to be considered as enemies of one Nigeria. So when you ask them to define that one Nigeria, there should be some factors, there should be some variables, there should be things that should make that one Nigeria meaningful for somebody to be convinced that it's worth to accept this nonsense, this danger as our own destiny of being one Nigeria. I mean, that's the danger. But it's more. Apart from their policy on protecting terrorists, which is something they don't see as terrorism. And you must understand this. Those who support the criminals who are committing all these crimes and those who are protecting them, Nigerian military has the intelligence. Nigerian security forces have all the intelligence. They have the resources to track down these guys. They can determine where they are within they know where they are. There's no point in me saying they can determine again. If Sheikh Osama Ngumi could locate all the terrorists and he could have a conversation with them where they told him point blank why they are doing what they are doing, then who told you that the Nigerian security agents don't know where these guys are? Of course they do. When these guys shot down, when these terrorists shot down fighter jets in Nigeria, because they felt like, why is this jet just flying over here in Niger? They didn't go back there to bombard the entire place and arrest them. They just let the news fizzle out. And at the same time, they sent military jets to Libya to go and bring the families of killed ISIS fighters. I hope you have read that in the news as well. Nigeria sending jets to Libya to go and bring back the families of killed ISIS fighters for rehabilitation in Nigeria. Who is going to pay for that? Or who is paying for all of this? Of course, Southern Nigeria is paying for it. Even though the same Southern Nigeria and the political class from that part are going cap in hand to the same criminals who can't even protect their own people, who can use that same power to keep the North safe. Look at the mess that is going on in Jos right now, in Plateau State. The news came out, they told us that 39 people, 39 travelers were killed, and they were Muslims. We saw the pictures of that, gory pictures of those people murdered. You would expect the military, the soldiers, or their security agents to swing into action and arrest the perpetrators. But listen to this. Around the area where they said the people were killed, just 2-3 days before that, that same community witnessed a 3 days, endless attacks from the Fulani terrorists. Over 80 of them were killed. And in their own way of retaliating, they moved to the street, they moved to the motorway, to the expressway. And innocent people who were coming from their own prayer, New Year prayer, Muslims, they were stopped in that bus. And from the eyewitness, they separated Christians from Muslims, and then they took 39 of them, killed them. In retaliation, that is what Nigeria has become. Guess what? That didn't even end there. Rather than the same security agents to come in as well and curb it, you know what happened? It has turned to a big mess right now. They have turned it into religious war. And you know that Jos is always known for this kind of religious attacks. Even one was led by Issa Pantantami, Issa Pandemic, the current Minister of Communication in Nigeria. They've turned it into religious war as we speak. And University of Jos, students are now we have received the report that students are now trapped in their schools. This is what Nigeria has become. And this is the fate of those who are going to that same place to seek power, even when their own home is currently burning. They have the idea of what this should be, but I can understand their fear. Their fear is that forget about the beautiful pictures you see on social media every now and then. Forget about the beautiful parties and all of that these guys organize. Forget about the fancy cars that they drive and the fancy speeches they give in those fancy dresses. Yeah? Many of them knows that they are all living on a borrowed time. And the only way to sustain it is to continue to massage the fraud called Nigeria. That is why when they said they were starting or banning, they were banning open grazing in southern Nigeria, many of us were kind of happy. But we also told you that they have no resources to do it. But some of them were waiting. They know that northern Nigeria, with these northern elite criminals led by Boko Haram and gang, the parasite, the cankerworm, the scavengers, the scroungers who have made the southern Nigeria poor and will become poorer, terrorized, as long as we remain as part of Nigeria. Those who knows that the best way out is either to get a restructured Nigeria that doesn't have to make any southerner or from southern Nigeria to have to be so entangled in this mad, bullish relationship, murderous relationship called one Nigeria. They know they could ask for it, but asking for that will probably lead to them losing all their privileges. And they also know that even among those who have their followers, right, who pretty much not happy with what is going on, if they were called upon to carry on what is going on. Even worse, they will do even worse. So that put these guys who call themselves the Southern politicians, who are not really representing anybody but themselves, that put them in a further dilemma, a dilemma of having to just dine with the devil. Their own houses are burning right now. Southern Nigeria is bleeding economically. Security-wise, we are bleeding. You know that, they know that, and they know that the future is bleak. But somehow they are telling themselves, maybe we can just make a deal, and maybe one of us should just be president. If one of us become president, maybe we can try and save our people. Like one of them, never was a president before. Obasanjo was a president for 8 years with the total power to make anything happen. But what happened? He ended up having to feather his own nest. So these guys are going cap in hands to the people who have brought serious destruction economically, and then even the unity they are talking about is completely in tatters as we speak. But rather than them to man up and use the momentum, the moment where it is going to be a payback time for those power hungry, know nothing, freeloaders, those opportunists like Boko Haram and gang. This is like the moment of truth, where there are people who have been chanting Barbarians, right? This is the moment where they can indeed know that those who are holding power in the name of religion, in the name of northern Nigeria, in the name of Fulani and all these other conjectures and all of that, the southern politicians have the opportunity right now to use that momentum, stamp their feet. You don't need election in 2023. You don't need to be president in 2023. It is a complete mirage, and they're self-serving. If you can ignore the economic damages done by Boko Haram, let me give you an idea. I'm not in government, but I can tell you few based on the information that are pretty much out there, right? Nigeria is broke, completely broke. Nigeria economy is in negative. Inflation is at the highest and the worst you ever see. And we're talking about 30-35% inflation in Nigeria right now. And I'm just being nice. If you have to really put it on paper, the inflation in Nigeria right now is above inflation, or food inflation and other inflation, right? They are currently above 50%. Who will survive with that? The only economy that is generating any fund to run any country, to run Nigeria as we speak, is from the southern Nigeria. That is the only economy. That is where you have real economy that is surviving or managing to sustain Nigeria. Even with that, Nigeria is completely in zero. And that is why they can't create new jobs. Okay? Your Naira is going to continue to fall. And when they say Naira is falling, it simply means, in a layman term, let's put it this way. Let's say in 2015, you had 1 million Naira in your bank account. And the bank, let's say you did a fixed term deposit of 6 years. And they are going to give you, let's say, 20% interest every year. So which simply means from your 1 million Naira, you are supposed to be getting 200,000 Naira interest every year. So in 6 years, right? That means your 1 million Naira with the fixed deposit you did in 2015, right now, should have earned you automatic 1.2 million Naira. 2.2 million Naira. Sounds good? To some of those who have advised you on investment, let me tell you how Boko Haram ruined the Nigerian economy and how they do it further and how it affected you directly, but you are only surviving because you think you have your head above water. How did this affect you? In 2015, right? A dollar to the Naira, or a Naira to the dollar, was 199 Naira. 99 Naira. So which simply means your 1 million naira, yeah, could be just about $500 to $600. Good. Now, if you had left that 1 million naira in dollars, $600, it would have been a good thing. But here is how this reverse affected you. Today, a naira to a dollar is now naira exchange to a dollar is now 500 and maybe 10 naira. 510 naira means your 1 million naira, which was $600 in 2015, because you left it as 1 million naira and it's meant to be 2.2 million naira. Now in 2021, that your 1 million naira is now 2.2 million. 2.2 million, by the time you now change your 2.2 million naira to the dollars, what do you think you're going to get? 2.2 million. I'm not so good in mathematics. Somebody said $6,000. You have no idea. You wish. Oh, sorry. I think that's my own bad there. Your 1 million naira, you are right. Your 1 million naira in 2015 with 200, with 200 to a dollar should give you how much? Somebody said $6,000 back then, and it will be $3,200 now with your 2.2 million naira. So when you do the math, have you gained or have you lost? Somebody should tell me. I'm not so good in mathematics, but that's how you can see the change. Now, you don't spend dollars, fine, you don't. But Nigeria is an import-dependent economy. That is why, even though you can produce most of what you use in Nigeria, your businessmen who have their own thousands of or millions of dollars to trade, I mean, what do you call it? Millions of naira to trade. Yeah. So the same way that naira to a dollar jumped from 200 naira to 500 naira, which is pretty much like a 300 or 250% increase. Yeah. So that simply means if they have 100 million naira to do a business, and they know that this 100 million naira will be exchanged for 200 naira to a dollar, and they need to change it to a dollar before they can transact their business and bring it back to Nigeria, which they are going to end up selling to you. So at the end of the day, business of 100 million naira ended up as, well, I'm not good in mathematics right there again as well, but do you get what I mean now? So 100 million naira, by the time you change it, you budgeted, what do you call it? 200 naira to $1, right? So by the time you exchange your money again, by the time you go to the bank and you have to exchange it for 500 naira to $1, that simply means wherever you budgeted for 100 million, will automatically, by the time you change it to that dollar, will automatically crash. And in order to recoup that, you need what? You need to first shrink your business and then recoup that again from the consumers, you. Thank you very much. I think somebody simplified it for me. For the record, 1 million naira in 2015 was $5,000 grand. And then in 2021, 1 million, what do you call it? 1 million, so 2.2 million naira would then be $2,000. So which means when you had 1 million naira in 2015, you could change it, you could have it for $5,000. In 2021, that 1 million naira in fixed deposit has earned you 1.1 million naira profit. So to you, you probably should have made more money, yeah? But by the time you exchange your 2.2 million naira to the dollar conversion again, you will realize that you only have $2,000. Thank you very much for that explanation there, the special one. You did well. So that's how it affected. So by the time you put the money together, you realize that in 6 years, even though you did a fixed deposit, you have lost $3,000. You only have $2,000 left. That is how many people lost half of their investment in banks, half of their savings, half of their businesses. And that is how millions of people lost half of everything. God bless you. I need to get somebody who can do a better mathematics for me. But you know what? I am so happy that many of you actually get the drill. You got what I'm trying to get at, right? Now, you will have to cough up the money. And that is why a bag of rice that normally, a rice that should be grown in Nigeria, if you have electricity, grown in Nigeria, processed in Nigeria to standard, and at the end of the day, crash whatever price is it going to be, without having to exchange your naira to $1 before you bring rice to Nigeria, without having to exchange your naira to $1 to bring raw materials of something you can actually get in Nigeria, produce in Nigeria, and crash the price. Electricity, something that could have easily took care of everything for them, but they chose not to make it, what have you, crash the economy. And here you are, you have to buy a bag of rice that you used to buy for 7,500 naira for 50 kg. Now you have to buy that now for how much? 30,000 naira. Can you see the difference? Now, that's how that affects you directly. More people lost their jobs. Many people lost their savings. They lost their investment. Many people, because out of shame of I don't want to become poor than expected, some of them left Nigeria in the last 6 years. So Nigeria witnessed the highest brain drain ever. While the politicians, Bokwari, continue to borrow. And they are not even borrowing to develop infrastructures that could enhance development, promote manufacturing, and indeed promote growth. They are not after that. They are promoting ideas about Ruga, how to borrow money to build ranches for armed Fulani terrorists all over Nigeria, how to make laws and orders to protect armed criminals and, free them. That's what they have been doing for 6 years. Why farms that should grow food naturally, normally, right? Farmers that should grow food became under heavy attacks from terrorists that Nigeria cannot stop, or rather, pardon. So the southern Nigeria became sharer of this. Bokwari shut down the Nigerian border and then gave the license of who brings in what to Dangote and then some of the Alakis there too.